Following the significant victory at Acre in 1191, King Richard I of England realized the necessity of securing Jaffa before launching a campaign to reclaim Jerusalem. Strategically vital, Jaffa's port was the gateway to controlling supply lines and ensuring a stable base of operations. In August, Richard led his Crusader forces southward along the coast, aware that every step forward would draw the attention of Saladin, who was resolute in his aim to prevent the recapture of Jerusalem. To safeguard his advance, Richard employed meticulous planning. With the Egyptian fleet significantly weakened after Acre's fall, the Crusaders faced no immediate maritime threat. Hugging the coastline, the Crusader fleet paralleled the march, providing supplies, transporting the wounded, and acting as a shield. Richard, ever conscious of past failures, prioritized his troops' endurance. Knowing that water scarcity and heat exhaustion posed grave dangers, he set a deliberate pace, marching only during the cooler morning hours and ensuring frequent rest stops near water sources. Despite these precautions, the journey was fraught with challenges. Saladin's army shadowed the Crusaders, employing skirmish tactics to harass and test their defenses. Muslim chronicler Baha al-Din vividly described the relentless attacks, recounting how Muslim archers loosed volleys of arrows to disrupt and provoke the Crusaders. Yet, Richard's disciplined army maintained its formation, moving steadily without haste. The superior power of the Crusader crossbows, which could pierce armor and fell both horse and man, became a defining feature of these exchanges, demonstrating the technological advantage of the Franks. Saladin, recognizing the futility of minor skirmishes, devised a broader strategy. By late August, he decided to commit his full force to halt the Crusader advance. Fortuitously, the Crusaders faced a stretch of challenging terrain, a forested region known as the Wood of Arsuf. This dense woodland, running parallel to the sea, provided Saladin with the perfect cover for a decisive ambush. Crusaders entered the forest cautiously, aware of the lurking danger. By September 6th, they camped near the Nahr al-Fali River, with marshes to their rear, adding an element of natural defense. Saladin's army, numbering approximately 25,000 soldiers, nearly all mounted, waited for the opportune moment to strike. In contrast, Richard's forces, though formidable, were outnumbered, with around 10,000 infantry and 1,200 heavy cavalry. The Crusader column was organized with precision. The Knights Templar led the vanguard, while the Knights Hospitaller formed the rear guard, guarding the baggage train and ensuring the army's cohesion. On September 7th, as the Crusaders resumed their march, Saladin's forces emerged from the woodland, launching a ferocious assault. The battle began with waves of skirmishes. Bedouins, Sudanese archers, and Turkish horse archers attacking the Crusader line with arrows and javelins. The Crusader crossbowmen retaliated, their bolts cutting through the lightly armored skirmishers. Saladin, intent on breaking the Crusader formation, directed his heavy cavalry to target the Hospitallers at the rear. The Hospitallers bore the brunt of the assault, with Saladin himself entering the fray to rally his troops. Even Saladin's brother joined the battle, encouraging the soldiers despite the constant threat of crossbow fire. Richard's strategy focused on discipline and endurance. He ordered his troops to hold their ground, allowing Saladin's forces to exhaust themselves with repeated charges. Despite the pressure, the Crusader line held firm, their cohesion unbroken. As the battle intensified, Hospitaller leaders repeatedly pleaded with Richard for permission to counterattack. Richard, however, insisted on waiting for the right moment, knowing that an uncoordinated charge could jeopardize the entire army. Eventually, the Hospitallers, unable to endure the onslaught any longer, launched an unsanctioned charge into the Saracen ranks, crying out the battle cry of St. George. Their bold action inspired the French knights, who joined the attack. Recognizing the need to support the momentum, Richard ordered a general charge. Trumpets sounded, and the Crusader knights surged forward with devastating force. The sudden shift from defense to offense caught Saladin's troops off guard, shattering their resolve. Some of Saladin's cavalry, having dismounted to shoot arrows, were unable to remount in time, leaving them vulnerable to the Crusader charge. As the Crusader knights pressed their attack, Saladin's army began to falter. Despite attempts to regroup, including a countercharge by his nephew, Taqi al-Din, the Saracen forces were ultimately routed. Saladin's troops scattered into the hills, abandoning the battlefield to the victorious Crusaders. The Battle of Arsuf resulted in heavy losses for Saladin, with estimates of 7,000 casualties compared to the Crusaders' 700. Though the victory did not decisively end the conflict, it marked a significant blow to Saladin's prestige and morale. Forced to demolish key fortresses in southern Palestine, Saladin relinquished control of the coast, enabling the Crusaders to threaten Jerusalem directly. The Third Crusade ultimately failed to retake Jerusalem, but the Treaty of Jaffa in 1292 secured important concessions. Christian pilgrims were granted safe passage to Jerusalem, and the Crusaders retained control of key coastal territories, including Jaffa. For Richard, the campaign underscored his reputation as a brilliant military leader, while for Saladin, the loss at Arsuf highlighted the resilience and determination of the Crusader army.